Hey everyone, welcome to another art making video with me. Today I'm going to show you how I create a mixed media painting that incorporates washi tape and gold cuttings. I'm going to start with a small block of wood that has been primed with gesso. I had the idea of drawing a Japanese inspired illustration with a gold background. I want the woman to have a kind of mysterious expression. I also wanted some of the branches to overlap her. I'm drawing her with my trusty mechanical pencil. Mechanical pencils are my favorite tools to use for rough drawings. I never have to stop to sharpen them. When the drawing is finished, I paint on a coat of matte gel to seal the pencil lead. If you don't seal the pencil drawing, it's more likely to smudge when you try to paint it. Once the gel has dried, I start the painting. I'm using Liquitex acrylic inks and golden high flow acrylics. Liquid acrylic inks are my favorite types of paint mediums to use because they are so smooth and fluid. So here you can see I am painting some blue trees in the background to kind of give it some depth, and they'll kind of show through the gold a little bit and give me an idea of where to add the branches later. So here I start by putting down all the base colors. Her skin has a yellow undertone, so I'm going to add a light wash of yellow to start with. And then once that dries a little bit, I'm going to go back in and add some shadows with some blues and grays and also some highlights. And at the corners of her eyes, I'm going to add a light pink color to give it some depth. And then I'm just going to start adding in more and more details and layering the paint. And I make a blue base for her hair, and then I start painting in highlights and shadows to really define the edges. I really like these acrylic fluid inks because they're really smooth and buttery. They feel just like painting with watercolor. It's just like painting with watercolor, except that it's going to dry permanently and it's not going to be affected by water. So if you accidentally splash a little water on it, it's not going to ruin the whole painting. And you can seal it with a varnish and it will last forever. While this part of the painting is drying, I'm going to start layering gold paint in the background and the sides of the wood block. I'm using the color Iridescent Bright Gold from Liquitex inks. As the background is drying, I'm going to paint in more details on her face. So here you'll see me going back and forth between the background layers and her face. So when I was still trying to figure out what would be the best medium to paint with when I was in art school, I experimented with a lot of different acrylic paints. I tried the heavy body ones, the soft body ones from Liquitex, and then finally I discovered the Liquitex inks, which are these really fluid acrylic colors that kind of are like inks and watercolor. They're very watery, but the great thing about them is you don't have to dilute them to get them to that watery consistency. They already come like that. So they're really easy and fun to paint with. And they're really great to paint on wood with. With heavy body acrylics, they're very thick and they have like this really gel-like consistency. So if the type of person that likes to paint really small and fine details, they're not really the greatest mediums to use, because to get them to that smooth kind of fluid-like consistency, you have to add an extra medium to them, or you have to add water to start diluting them to make them have that kind of flow like watercolors. And with that, it also affects the pigment in them. But with the fluid acrylics, their pigment is already there and you don't need to add water to make them be water-like and fluid. If you've never tried fluid acrylics and you paint more illustratively with small details, you really should buy a set and try them out. They're gonna change your life. So as the wash is drying, I'm going back in and adding more and more details, little bits of color with my brush, and her face is slowly gonna come together. And right about now, my camera decides to stop recording, so I ended up losing footage of me applying the washi tape to her dress. I was so mad when this happened. So instead, I'll show you what kind of washi tape I used to make her dress. So this is the Galaxy set I got from AliExpress. Isn't it pretty? I love it so much. I'm definitely going to be using more of this washi tape in future collages. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Liquitex Matte Gel Medium to glue down the tiny pieces of gold cuttings. They're going to be branches that populate the background and foreground of the painting. So I'm painting the shape of the branches with the matte gel, and then I sprinkle on the cuttings. Then I'm going to wait a few minutes for them to dry, and then I start tapping off the extra pieces. And they're these really small micro cuttings of gold pieces that you can use to collage, or you can use in sculptural pieces, ceramic pieces. I think would be a good idea. I really love the matte gel. It's a great adhesive for collage work. I like to use it when I'm collaging with my decorative papers. If you're looking for a really good glue to use for collage work when you're using like pieces of paper and things like that, I would definitely recommend getting this matte gel. So here I decided I want to extend the branches to the edges of the frame. So I am adding more gel and just scattering on more cuttings. So I'm just gonna keep adding more gel branches and then scattering the gold cuttings on top and then tapping them off. So when the gold branches have dried down, I'm gonna go back in and paint little brown branches in the background to help add some detail and depth to the painting. I really like this brush that I'm using to paint the little branches with. It's a micron brush by the brand Dynasty, and it's a really nice, thin, calligraphy-like brush, which is really great for painting branches and things like that. So here I decided to continue extending her dress down to the bottom of the wood block with washi tape. So I'm cutting and gluing down pieces of washi to finish off her dress. I really enjoyed using washi in this piece. I definitely want to start experimenting more with washi tape in my mixed media paintings. They're really easy to cut if you use an X-Acto knife, and they stay glued down really nicely. It's a really cool alternative to using decorative papers, and you can use a ton of different combinations of washi tapes to create like these really beautiful patterns. So here's the finished painting. I really enjoyed experimenting with this mixed media piece, and I'm definitely going to be making more paintings like this in the future for sure. And I'll definitely be sure to take you along with me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to share it with your friends on social media. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!